Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kelly, and today I want to talk about what is karma and how is this relevant in your life. So, what is karma? I have to admit, I have been fairly confused about this topic for many years, but after reading and thinking about it for a while, I've come up with this definition. It's all your actions, good and bad, that are driven by your intentions and all the consequences of these actions. So, in our human life on earth, we are constantly presented with sets of circumstances where we have the opportunity to use our free will to decide what to do in those circumstances and then act accordingly. Many people say that in a certain circumstance they didn't have a choice, but this is not true. We always have a choice. And here's an example. If you are confronted by a person pointing a gun at you, for example, very extreme example, you have the choice to fight back in a violent way. You have the choice to try and talk to them and understand the situation. You have a chance to do nothing and allow them to either rob you or kill you, whatever they're going to do. All of these are choices. They're all different actions that we choose to take, and they'll all have different consequences. The consequences are both the effects on yourself and other people who are involved in the circumstances. So we are defined by our actions. Every action we do, every choice we make leads to us becoming more of ourselves based on those choices. The consequences, this is probably something that's pretty difficult to understand, but the consequences that every other character in the set of circumstances feels as a result of your actions. To a lot of people's minds, that is unfair, but really in the ultimate spiritual truth, we are all the same. And every person that we meet on earth is simply a version of ourselves, because the energy that we're all created from is all the same, and we are all connected. So this took me a while to realize, but because we're all really the same, then it makes sense that all the consequences of our actions are impacts on us that naturally happen. All these things naturally happen. Something that is very relevant to this topic is the many videos about near-death experiences. I've probably seen about 30 or 40 of them now, and they're not exactly the same, but in quite a lot of them, there seems to be a time where the people who are experiencing it are shown a movie of their life. They say movie, but that's the closest approximation they can come to explaining it. They are themselves in the movie, and they can feel what they've experienced, which they know. They may have forgotten it though, so they re-experience it. But also, they experience every other person in the film, in the movie, who they have affected. They experience all their emotions and all the consequences that happened from their actions on this other person. So it's an intense experience for them. And when they come back, usually after being revived on a operating table, they will say that they're vastly changed, because they realize that every action we make that affects others is important. Nothing is unimportant. And also, nothing is hidden or lost or forgotten. Every single thing we do and all the consequences are somehow recorded and are able to be played back at any time. This brings up another point, that you can't really accumulate good karma in order to negate or neutralize bad karma. It's not a balance sheet. And when the people who report about their near-death experience report this, nobody is judging them. They're being shown the film by other sentient beings, but they're not being judged at all. The outcome is that they have become the consequences of the actions, and they will have to try to do things in the next life or the next incarnation that somewhat ameliorate or repair, remediate as much as they can the consequences of those actions. So this changes the perspective of life quite a lot, because the vast majority of people will think that as long as what they do, negative things that they do, for example, as long as these things are not found out, that they will get away with these things. They will get away with the immediate consequences and any long-term consequences. But this is not truth. We don't actually get away with anything, not just because these things are recorded, but because we inculcate the decisions we make from our intentions, our actions, and the consequences. That becomes a part of us. That can either evolve us and develop us or de-evolve us. So we don't really get away with anything. Every action we make, decision we make, creates us, our consciousness, which is what we take to the next stage of the journey. Everybody knows that we will die, and everybody knows that we can't take things like status and fame and material possessions with us to the next spiritual realm. What we take with us is what we have become in this life. Have we improved what we were born with, or made it worse? our consciousness will carry on. That's what we will take with us. That's what we are. So it doesn't matter whether these things are known by humanity or not. They are a fact on many levels. And you do this for yourself, not because you're made to do it. It's not some punishment. It's because you know that that's how you're going to develop. That's how you're going to evolve, which is really the main reason that certainly that we're on Earth, but probably that we exist at all, is to, by our own efforts and free will, attempt to evolve to the most shining example of ourselves that we can. So we do these remedial actions for the consequences of our actions by choice. No one's making us do it. And we also can't fake it either. We can't fake that we've become a good person. We can't buy our way out of these things. It's really the ultimate form of fairness and justice. You become the sum total of your decisions and actions. You can't get fairer than that. It also means that all humans are on a completely level and equal playing field. It may seem in the short term that people who are wealthy and powerful have more advantage than people who are poor and who lack resources, material resources. But in a spiritual sense, having vast riches may impede your spiritual progress. So all of these things that are seen as short-term advantages on the earth are not necessarily advantages in the ultimate spiritual perspective. So I hope that's helped you, even given you some things to think about. I'm still exploring this topic myself. As with all the topics, I'm always learning. So I wish you all the best wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you next time. Take care and bye for now.